Alright guys, welcome to my 2014 Gen 1 Raptor. So the secret's out, the Gen 1 Raptor is finally here in beautiful ruby red. This is the very first video and the introduction to my truck. I want to apologize for the sounds. There's lots of locusts and weird Florida creatures, and there's also a highway back there. And I wanted to get this video out to you guys just because I'm so freaking excited. I'm gonna give you a quick once over, a brief introduction to my Gen 1 Raptor, and kind of just a few ideas and initial thoughts and impressions I have with it. So far, I love it, but let's just kind of go through it as I usually do. A lot of you guys know, if you're truck owners, this is ruby red, which I believe was only offered in 2014. This is a 2014 one owner, got it from Lakeland, Florida. Really tiny dealership. I want to thank my buddy Mike. He has this special skill of finding amazing vehicles. So beadlock package, which is really nice, from Ford, the SVT beadlock package, which the wheels are in good shape, new tires, and there's just a couple chips. This truck was not off-roaded from what I can tell. It's very straight. The engine bay is extremely clean. There's no mud or any sort of weird dry dirt anywhere. So that is really nice. The paint itself is kind of what you would expect from you know, a 6-year-old vehicle. It needs a paint correction, but generally speaking, it's really good. Completely stock except for tint on the front windows. Let's go around this way. And what I really liked is not only is it the last year they made it, but it also has the nicer projector headlights. You know, one thing that I don't like is this looks a little sun faded, and also there's a little bit of scuffing here. So I don't know if I'll have those repainted or whatever, but generally, you know, the bumper is good. I got the grille refinished, which they did a pretty good job at refinishing it. It was really pitted from, I would only assume, like love bugs down here in Florida. Let's go around this way. I have to grab the key to show you the bed because I locked it, but this is the interior. All right, so I turned it off because I got to grab the key. I wasn't a huge fan of these seats, to be honest with you guys, just because the whole two-tone thing isn't really my favorite, despite my history of cars. But this was the only way to get the ruby red, was with this seat option. There was no other option. We got the nice performance steering wheel, and of course it has the fancy race stripe or whatever for off-roading. And this truck is fully loaded except for, I think, 2 things, actually maybe 3 things. It does not have a sunroof, which is probably okay with me. It's you know, less weight, and this thing weighs plenty. And it also does not have the tailgate step, and it doesn't have the little front camera. But other than that, it has the rear camera and the sensors and all that. It's in really good shape. No rust or anything, you guys can kind of see. Unfortunately, they armor-alled it, which sucks, but it's in really good shape. Driver's seat, it's one owner, 110,000 miles. I'll start it up for you in a second here. But the rear, of course, is massive, and then you can fold the seat down, and you got your rear seats, which are of course shiny from the freaking from the armor all. So lots of room back here, as you guys would expect. There's a couple things they need to change, like this needs to be fixed, but other than that, I mean, no rust, no huge issues with the truck. It's very straight. What's cool, and I'm not a truck guy, so this is new to me, the roll-in lock is especially apparently very expensive as an option for a bed cover, tonneau cover, whatever you're supposed to call it. So that's really nice to have. And of course we got the rear of the truck, which I really like because there's no chrome and there's no rust. I locked this, which is old school, and I'll show you why. So we've got a bunch of stuff in here. Got the Ford sprayed in bed liner, and we don't have the step here. Usually a lot of the trucks are purchased with one of those little bed steps. Mine doesn't have it, which is kind of interesting. Not really a big deal. I'm young, I can jump right on top. And this is stuff from Obsessed Garage, which was my first stop. This is tool grid stuff, if you know what that is. And then there's a bunch of gallons in there because I probably saved like 80 bucks in shipping just to get that. But this thing locks. The roll-in lock thing is nice. They actually have to send me the key for that. So this does close, but it doesn't actually lock with a key. So that's why I locked the actual tailgate. And you can see this is an not old school, but it's an older truck. The new ones have the slow release. Mine doesn't have that. So I at least locked the rear tailgate just to make it, I guess, less obvious that something's in there. Completely stock, as I mentioned, stock exhaust, but that will actually be changing soon. And I'll get in the passenger side just so you guys can see what it looks like from over here. So I freaking love this thing so far. It definitely rides like a truck, but it definitely rides way better than a normal F-150 to me. So that's why I wanted it. I don't plan on doing like a ton of towing, but I do plan on using it for its utility. We're constantly doing projects on the lawn. Oh, there's a Raptor over there. Gen 2, Leadfoot. The squad is around. So it's really cool actually being in like a truck that every time I see it on the road, it looks sick. You know, you're like, oh, that's a Raptor. So of course we've got the little amber lights here and here and here and here. And if you're not a Raptor guy, that is actually like a DOT like regulation, because it's 8 inches wider or 7 inches wider than a regular F-150, which pushes it into commercial vehicle category for dimensions, which is why they have those extra lights. So not only are they cool, but they're also a requirement. So let's start her up. As I mentioned, it is stock, one owner, full dealer records. It needs spark plugs and, you know, detail, but other than that, it's really nice. So let's start her up. It has remote start, but we'll just start it normally. Of course, it's not a cold start. Ford Sync. First impressions of this is it's fine for being a little older. It's 6 years old now. I like that I have the air-conditioned seats, which are actually kind of loud. It's funny, I didn't realize how loud they were. I thought it was the regular air, but if I turn that on, and watch, I'll turn it off. I don't know if you guys could hear that it got quieter, but they're actually very loud. So here is the gauge cluster. It's actually nice. The gas mileage is not so nice. That is my average over the last couple hundred miles, and really the last few are kind of around town, so really not that great. Power folding mirrors, and it has a little indicator, you know, like on the mirror, obviously. And yeah, steering wheel is nice. Of course, it's armor-alled. Got the trailer brake assist. We've got the typical Raptor fashion. We've got the aux switches, which are not hooked up to anything right now. And then, you know, there's no weird wood in here. There's nothing like that. But it is you know, based off an F-150. This is the cabin. Really nice, really clean. It's obviously going to need a detail. Look at that. Oh, the frickin' back is just a grease nightmare. So it is weird driving such a big vehicle. I'm not used to just the width of it, honestly. The length is long. It's very long too, but I'm not used to the width. So yeah, so let's get going. I'm gonna give you a couple more impressions, and then I want you guys to comment, you know. Oh, actually, let's put the seatbelt on. All right, now that I got my seatbelt on, we can get going. Give it a little beans. I mean, she moves for being 5,800 pounds, guys. It is not a light truck. I mean, that's the thing about like the Gen 2. It's like 500 pounds lighter and more horsepower. So, you know, the Gen 2 is better in every way. Maybe not that quite the same analog feel as this. You know, it has the hydraulic steering and it has the big old V8, the 6.2 V8, which is kind of crazy that it's in here, but I guess it's not that crazy now that I think about it. All right, so let's go this way. So as you guys can probably imagine, I mean, it's very different being in here versus like a car or even a normal SUV of some sort, even like an X5 or an X3. I mean, those are really more cars than trucks, as you guys probably know. So I have never had a truck. This is my first truck, and I think I'm lucky that I got a good one, and I got, you know, a Raptor. A Raptor is sweet, and it's gonna be perfect for my needs. Alright guys, so I don't want to make this video insanely long. It's really more of an introduction to the Raptor than anything else. So it's like an introduction. I'm going to be doing a ton of content on this, and actually what's interesting is through searching Raptors and kind of trying to learn and digest tons of content on them, there isn't a ton of content on YouTube about like a Gen 1 Raptor. And I know there's a lot of Gen 2 stuff, but for some reason there's not as much Gen 2 or Gen 1 as I would have thought. So that is definitely kind of a benefit of, you know, having this truck, is I get to share it with people when normally I wouldn't be. So that's definitely like a plus. Like, I like to share it, and then I kind of like the whole community aspect of it too. But having this thing is sweet. So I've driven this thing already like a few hundred miles in the matter of just like a day or two, and it drives really good. Like, it drives dead straight. It does have sort of a truck feel. You know, you have an empty bed back there. I mean, there's not really much getting around that. That's just kind of the nature of having a truck. But the shocks and the suspension just feels so proper. Like, it's definitely more sporty than any truck like you can drive like today, especially like a Gen 1 or Gen 2 Raptor. So yeah, it's really sweet. I love it. You know, here is your guys' opportunity to like comment and kind of, you know, ask like what you want to know. If you want to see certain things on the truck, I'll be sure to like do dedicated videos. That's kind of my style, is I like to do like a focused video. But I will do like an in-depth tour of the truck. I like doing those, like doing like a 15-minute video of like, here's the engine bay, here's this, here's that. So I'm gonna get around these vans. And like, I know the Gen 2 is like significantly faster than this, but I guess like this is a little faster than I had anticipated, which is great. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Introduction to the ruby red Raptor. I freaking love it. Yes, I wanted this color. Yes, I am okay with these seats. And I'm so stoked, guys. Like, I'm so freaking excited. This thing's gonna be sweet. So comment below what you guys want to see on the Raptor, and I'll see you guys very soon. Boy, we got a Jeep Gladiator here that's being towed. He wishes he was as cool as this Raptor, that's for sure.